Jenny Lowell. I'm a OBGYN in Chittenden County. I'm with Matri Healthcare for Women, and I'm one of the practitioners there, but I also am one of the business owners. And I've been doing that for about 19 years. And, in those 19 years, there have been periods of time based on what's been going on in my life where I've been a little bit burned out. But this particular 1 year, I just started having a lot more just stuff going on at home that started to make my work life just really hard to manage. I've stepped in and out of being severely burned out over the years. It's just, I've never had it last this long. It's never lasted an entire year for me. So I started to really think actually, maybe this is not recoverable because, it had been in the past by doing my normal things that I always do. This just wasn't working. So I happened to be in my physician's office trying to kind of figure out with her what I should be doing. Should I be starting an antidepressant? Was I really depressed? Was I burned out? Was this just getting older, not being able to handle being on call and up all night? And so while I was waiting to talk to her, I saw the retain sign on the wall and I kind of read it. And at first I wasn't sure that it really pertained to me because it felt like I'm not having back pain. I didn't hurt my shoulder. This just really felt like it's just all mental health issue. But the sign assured me that was an acceptable reason to call. And I have to tell you, at that point, I was just really desperate for help. I just didn't know what to do. I was crying 3 to 6 times a day. I was really struggling to be at work in the way that I normally am present at work. And so I signed up and started by getting a call from my nurse contact. She did all her intake and then, touched base with me, I think about a week or two later. And I have to say the calls were so nice. I really respond to kindness. And I felt like Mary was just incredibly kind and listened to my frustrations about, everything involved, all of the things. And then not only did the phone calls continue with the kindness and just allowing me to say whatever I needed to say, but then she hooked me up with some really nice resources. They had met, I believe, at a committee and they talk about cases, which I've given her my permission to do so. And I spoke to a physician who I believe he was a psychiatrist. And he just listened, and again, a physician, so it's a great contact. He really, when you talk to physicians about burnout, my gosh, do they get it? They really get it. And then the next thing they provided me, which was amazing, I can't speak how highly this was helpful for me, and I never would have found it on my own, was an organization that works to support care providers. All the things that I was going through were normal, but that's not to say they were easy. And I really got that message from her loud and clear. These are hard things to go through. I kept hoping my old self would reemerge, the one that's been doing this for a long time with a lot of passion. In the end, I decided to stay at Matri, and I'm feeling really good about that. And I feel like myself again, which is amazing. I don't feel burned out anymore. I don't feel broken anymore. Mental health is incredibly important. It doesn't even just affect me, right? It's like the ripple effect. I have a role to play for my patients. I have a role to play for my colleagues. I have a role to play for the medical students and the residents and the nurses. And so I either show up the best me that I can be, which is pretty good me usually, or I show up, the burned out, really broken version. That's not the person we all want to show up. Somebody always has it worse than you and somebody always has it better than you, right? But that doesn't mean that when you're suffering, you're not really suffering. So just reach out for help. And what do you have to lose? There was nothing about it that wasn't nice. To have people just want to listen to me talk about whatever I wanted to talk about was lovely and helpful. And so helpful. I do believe that burnout is recoverable. I truly do believe that.